Hello, everyone, and happy new moon. I hope that you are able to either join me live right now or catch this on the replay whenever you catch it. It is meant to be. You are supposed to hear these words. And so, what I would like to do today for our tapping segment or tapping series, whatever you want to call it, is we're going to tap just on the side of your nail beds. And about 5 to 10 taps, innately switch hands, switch side of the fingers whenever you're ready. And just know that I'm going to be doing this as well. I'm going to just place my hands down in my lap and do that also. And hey, Christine, if you are joining me live right now, I would love, love, love for you to comment, mention a friend, family member, whomever you think might benefit from this. It sure helps me, and it sure helps you, and it sure helps the universe to bring more awareness, bring more like-minded people together, help us to raise the vibration of the planet, which is the goal of the Rise Tribe. So as you are tapping on the side of your fingers, let's start to slow your breath. I'm a very fast talker by nature. So I have to slow myself down just a little bit. And today I wanted to share with you one of the tools that I first started using as I really began to awaken. And it is based around the idea of being offended. And so I want you to think of a time that you maybe have been offended or something that could offend you. Like just even thinking about it makes you start to feel a certain way, starts to make you feel upset, angry. And what I would like you to do is just be curious and know that nobody actually has the power to offend you. So let's use an example. You are cut off in traffic. You're passed up for a job promotion. You overhear some really negative self-talk about someone you love, maybe even about yourself, and you get offended. The tool, the main takeaway, the key here, if I could share anything with you in this beginning of awakening or whatever phase you are in your awakening, ask yourself as you are offended if you could take your own power back. And this is an innate human trait, and we start to get angry, we start to get even more sad or upset or feel overwhelmed. And what we're doing is you're trying to essentially take your power back, not realizing that by getting more upset, you're actually giving more of your power away. You're in a state of unalignment with yourself. And so if you could just pause and just be aware of it, that's the only thing you need to do at first. You could be there for a while. Just recognize it every time you get pissed, right? Traffic was a big one for me at first. Now I've got to the place where I can get cut off in traffic and think, oh, thank goodness that person just saved me from an accident up ahead, or whatever it might be that I kind of think of. It might take a minute to get there. It might not. You might just decide that right now. That's an old belief pattern that things take time to relearn. You can decide right now. As you are tapping on the side of your nail beds and calming your nervous system and rerouting the neurological pathways that happen in our brains. I talk with my hands, but then I put my hands back down and start tapping again. So that's it. That's the number one thing. Just be aware of when you are offended and then ask yourself, how am I giving my power away? And is there a way that I could take back my own power? And how you do that is then be able to take this trigger by being offended and turn it into a positive, which triggers really are. They can be negative at first. And then as soon as you are aware of them, you turn them into the positive. And that's what triggers are for. They are meant to awaken us to the next level. You are being triggered into the next step, the next phase, the next awakening of your life. And then you have a choice. You can stay in the anger. You can stay in the whatever emotions that you're maybe not wanting to feel, or you can choose to decide that you want to move forward from this being able to be offended, for lack of a better way of saying that. But you decide that you are going to take back your own power, and you're deciding that this trigger was to awaken you and to show you what it is you are supposed to learn from that. And then as you learn from that, more triggers might come up. until something happens, which is pretty magical, where you get so in alignment with who you are, which consistently your frequency that you emit, the light that you emit, will change. It will elevate as you continue to be aware of this, just simply by being aware of it. And then you will move into a phase where you are so aware of it that it no longer triggers you. It's a really cool thing to watch with the clients that I work with, that certain people, certain things really trigger them. And then all of a sudden they're like, you know what? I didn't even think of it, but it hasn't bothered me. It hasn't triggered me. This person's doing the same thing at my work. Doesn't bother me anymore, whatever it might be. So I just wanted to leave you with that. If there's one thing on this new moon, right? Hopefully you're feeling this energy. And if you're not, maybe just like stop and close your eyes and take a breath and see if you're sensing the energy that's in the air right now. Because I love to remind myself that the moon wanes, the moon rests, the moon goes into its dark phase. And so should we. We weren't meant to be on and popping all the time, which I thought I had to be as a business owner. It's not true. You're meant to go within. You're meant to slow down. And so right now, today, we are on that on and popping kind of phase, right? If you're feeling that energy, if you're feeling like, ooh, like a new habit, a new creation, a new birthing, whether it's a human baby or a business or an idea or whatever it might be, if you're feeling that right now, the perfect time is in this new moon phase that hit. It was at, I had to write it down to remember, it was at 4:54 a.m. MST, which is my time zone. But going back to this trigger that might seem negative at first and deciding that you are no longer going to be available to be offended by anyone else, and making that decision to become aware of it and then change that into the positive as to how can this be for my highest and my greatest growth? How can I become aware of this right now so that I can move forward and through this to change it? I would love to know anything that's coming up for you. And you can post it here in the comments, of course, even if it's after the live, and I will come in and I'm happy to share and to coach as well. But that's it. I just wanted to come in, new moon, tapping on the side of your fingers. This is a little tool that you can do whenever you feel nervous, like if you're going to do a talk or you're going to do anything where you might feel a little nervous. I tend to tell this more to my the teenagers that I work with that are a little more nervous in school. They take their hands underneath their desk and they tap. But I also tell it to the women that are in rooms. Just tap underneath the desk. No one will know any different. And if they do, it's because they know also to tap on the side of the nail beds. There's meridian points there that naturally will help soothe and calm the nervous system. So hopefully if you've been tapping with me, you can sense that as well. All right, I'm going to take off. Everyone, have a great day. Thank you so much for being here live. Thank you so much for watching back. And I will see you next time. Oh, sure, Christine. So on my hands, it's literally just on the side of the nail bed right here. Just those meridian points. And you can also rub them. I've been meaning to do a live about my kids have these things like these fidgets, and they have these rings that you run up and down your finger, and I'll definitely show it next time. But they're literally called acupressure rings because you tap on the acupressure points on the side of your nail beds, which is where we're tapping. We're tapping on the meridians where if you do acupressure, if you do acupuncture, it's the same place where the needles are placed or where you're pressing. You're just innately tapping on them. So every time you hear the word, we're going to tap into, remember, you literally have the power to tap into anything you want right at your fingertips. So there's no wrong way of doing it. You tap on it, you switch sides, you switch fingers, you switch hands, whatever pattern you want to go through. All right. I hope that helps. All right, everyone. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.